AITA for kicking my sister out after she left my dog at a shelter while I was away? My name is Emily Vance, and at 30 years old, I finally had my own condo, far from my parents' constant criticism and my sister Madison's endless drama. But the best part came the following weekend. I went to the local Humane Society and adopted Cooper, a yellow Labrador mix about 3 years old, with brown eyes that could disarm anyone. As soon as he looked at me, I felt something shift in my chest, as if something was finally going right for me. All my life I wanted a dog. It was always the same fight at home. Mom, I will take care of him, I swear. No, Emily. Dogs make messes, they smell, they ruin the furniture. And my dad would finish it off with his sentencing tone. Not in this house. So I bottled up those desires and turned them into something else. During high school, every Saturday I volunteered at a shelter near our suburban home. I walked dogs, cleaned kennels, and helped bathe them. I left with that affection stored away as if I were always missing something. That is why, when I saw Cooper exploring my apartment, I knew it wasn't a whim. It was a fulfilled promise. He sniffed every corner with excitement, peeked out onto the balcony, circled the living room twice, then looked at me as if asking if that place was really his. Yes, buddy, it is your home now. In a few days we settled into a routine. An early walk before work, another walk at dusk, a bit of training in the living room, and on weekends the dog park and rest. He slept in his orthopedic bed, and I was very careful with the rules. It gave me peace of mind knowing everything was in order. I enrolled him in professional training classes at a local pet center from the start. Not because he was a disaster. On the contrary, he was good. Smart. I just wanted to do it right and give him a nice life. After the first session, the trainer Mark smiled at me. You got a very intelligent one. Yes, he learns fast. He likes to please you. You can tell he already chose you. I couldn't help but smile. He is incredible. 3 weeks after bringing him home, I decided to introduce him to my family. I was nervous, but a part of me still wanted to believe that seeing him would change them, that they would notice how calm he was, and that they would understand why I wanted him for so many years. The illusion lasted as long as it took to open the door to my parents' house. They lived in a pristine suburb just outside the city, in one of those houses where everything is arranged as if there were an important visit every day. As soon as I walked in with Cooper on his leash, I knew I had made a mistake. My mom scrunched up her face as if something unpleasant had entered. My dad crossed his arms, looking serious. And Madison, my 25-year-old sister who still lived with them, rolled her eyes with an exaggerated sigh. Did you really bring him inside? Said my mom, taking a step back as if Cooper were going to jump on her shoes. His name is Cooper. And yes, I brought him inside. It is freezing out. I am not going to leave him outside. My dad looked him up and down. Cooper was sitting by my side still, just as we practiced. Well, but don't you even think about letting him on the couches. Your mom just had the carpets professionally cleaned. He doesn't get up. He is already used to it. I gave him a gentle pat on the back. He raised his face and looked at me with confidence, without understanding anything that was happening. We went to the kitchen. My mom had prepared lunch. Cooper lay down under the table near my feet. Not a noise, not a bother. Even so, the atmosphere was tense, as if his mere presence were a liability. Madison was the first to speak, as if I didn't exist. Mom, tell Emily about my promotion. My mom's face lit up. Let's see, tell her. Madison straightened up and smiled proudly. My boss almost assured me of it. It is just a matter of a couple of weeks, and with that, now I will be able to get my own place downtown. Enough of asking for permission for everything. She said it with such security that it almost made me laugh. Not because she couldn't, but because of the irony. She complained about my parents' control, but she was still there under their roof and their rules as if it were the most normal thing. We are very proud of you, said my dad, puffing out his chest. Then, as if remembering that I was also sitting there, he added, and Emily is getting there with her condo, paying her mortgage, being responsible. Before I responded, I felt Cooper move a little bit. Nothing serious, just getting comfortable. Madison let out a short scream. He touched me. Get him off. That's gross. She pushed her chair back as if he were a danger. He just sniffed you. He is saying hello. I said, trying to stay calm, pulling him closer to me. My mom shook her head firmly. Emily, it is better if you don't bring him anymore when you come. It makes your sister uncomfortable. And honestly, us too. I looked around. The faces of the three were the same, full of disapproval, as if I had done something wrong by arriving with someone who made me happy. I felt that familiar hollow in my chest, that place where I always ended up in that family. We are leaving now, I said, suddenly standing up. I have things to do. I left without arguing. Outside, the cold wind hit my face. In the car, Cooper sat calmly in the passenger seat looking out the window. I looked at him and something inside me settled. For years I strove to please them, to fit in, not to give reasons for them to criticize me, and yet it was never enough. That night, driving back to my apartment in the city, I understood it. I no longer had to ask for permission to live my life. Now it is just you and me, I told him, scratching behind his ear at a stoplight. And truthfully, that is enough for me. In the following months, I started going to my parents' house less. When I went, it was only if my friend Sarah could stay with Cooper for a while, and it was always the same. The conversation revolved around Madison, her plans, her dreams, her work. I was the older sister who listened, nodded, and supported. Inside, I felt further and further away. On one of those visits, I ran into Madison in the hallway. She had a hard face, tightening her mouth. The promotion didn't happen, she murmured. My boss said maybe next quarter. I am sorry, I said sincerely. It happens. Other opportunities will come. She leaned her back against the wall and stared at my car keys in my hand. You are leaving already? Yes, I have to get back to Cooper. Sarah has plans today. Madison snorted. You treat that dog as if he were your child. He is family to me. She looked at me strangely, as if she didn't know what to answer. Then she let out a phrase that left me thinking. How lucky you are. Lucky? Yes, your apartment, your rules. Must be very nice. I remained silent. It wasn't luck. It was years of saving, planning, and working. Things that she never took seriously because there was always someone solving things for her. The days continued with my routine. Work at a marketing agency, walks with Cooper, and his happy jumps every time I opened the door. Weekends in the park, quiet afternoons, calm nights, until one Tuesday my boss, Jessica, called me to her office. Emily, I have an opportunity for you. She passed me a folder. We are going to open a new operation in Seattle. We need someone to go for 2 months to set everything up and train the team. I want it to be you. I read quickly. It was heavy, yes, but it was also just the kind of challenge that changes your career path. If it goes well, Jessica added, this can translate into a promotion when you return. I felt my heart accelerate. I am interested, I said. Let me check a few things and I will confirm tomorrow. That night I looked for options for Cooper. Dog daycares, boarding kennels, pet hotels. There were good places, yes, but something in me broke at the idea of leaving him locked up for 2 months. Cooper had already been in a shelter. I couldn't imagine him believing that I was abandoning him again. The next day there was a knock at the door. It was Madison. She was standing in the hallway, uncomfortable, as if it weighed on her to be there. Mom said you are not answering her texts. She sent me to see if you were okay. Without waiting for an answer, she entered. Cooper ran to greet her, wagging his tail happily. Madison pushed him away with her hand as if he were a bag getting in the way. Then she saw the suitcases next to the wall. What is that? I explained the work trip. I barely mentioned the promotion and her eyes shone. Well, that sounds incredible, she said, letting herself fall onto my couch as if it were hers. What is the problem? Cooper, I responded. I don't know who to leave him with. Madison looked toward where Cooper was already lying in his bed. And suddenly, as if something occurred to her that benefited her, her expression changed. I can take care of him. I stood watching her. You. She shrugged. I can stay here. That way I get a rest from Mom and Dad. And you don't put him in a kennel, dude. Something didn't add up. Madison wasn't exactly the most responsible person, and she didn't like dogs either, but time was coming down on me, and I didn't have another option that felt safe. There are rules, I told her seriously. No parties. Keep the apartment clean. Cooper needs 2 walks a day. His food is measured. I am going to explain everything to you. Yes, I understood already, she interrupted me with annoyance. I am not a child, Emily. That same week we got everything ready. The day I left arrived too fast. Madison appeared with 2 huge suitcases. It looked more like a move than a visit. Remember, I told her while we waited for the Uber. Cooper's food is at 6 and before sleeping, his dental treat. And no parties. Everything is going to be fine, she said, pushing me toward the door. Go and be successful. Cooper and I are going to be perfect. I knelt down to hug Cooper. I felt a knot in my throat. Behave yourself. I am going to miss you so much. The car honked outside. I gave him one last caress, looked at Madison with a warning and left. The first week in Seattle was crazy. Meetings, installations, training, adjustments. I arrived at the hotel tired, and yet the first thing I did was text Madison. How is it going, Cooper? She responded shortly. Good, everything calm, stop worrying. Every once in a while I managed to make a video call, and seeing Cooper on the screen, hearing his excited bark when he recognized my voice, calmed me down. By the 4th week I had a rhythm. The team was responding, the work was advancing, and Madison continued with the same style. All good but without details. One night my phone rang. It was Mrs. Higgins, my next-door neighbor. Emily, excuse me for bothering you, she said with a tired voice. But there has been a lot of noise in your apartment these days. Loud music, people entering and leaving. And I am worried about your dog. I have heard him crying. Like desperate. My stomach tightened. I thanked her and hung up with a trembling hand. I called Madison immediately. She took a long time to answer. When she did, music could be heard at full volume. What? Madison shouted. Turn down the music. I need to speak with you. The music went down a little. What is happening? It is extremely late. The neighbor called me. She says you have been throwing parties and that Cooper is upset. She is exaggerating, she blurted out. Some friends just came over, that is all. Cooper is fine. Show me the apartment right now. Video call. She huffed but accepted. The camera showed my living room made into a disaster. Red plastic cups, trash, people passing in the background, the couch full of things. My eyes burned from anger. Where is Cooper? Madison moved the camera toward the kitchen. There was Cooper, stuck in a corner with his tail between his legs, looking nervous. My blood ran cold. Kick everyone out now and take him for a walk. A real walk. Madison rolled her eyes. Okay, tomorrow it will be normal. Stop exaggerating. I hung up and on impulse called my parents. I still had that foolish hope that if they found out, they would put a stop to it. As soon as I explained, my mom let out a dry laugh. You are making a drama over nothing, Emily. She promised me to take care of him, and she is not complying. She is destroying my apartment, and Cooper is suffering. It is a dog, said my dad without patience. And you have always been too rigid. The phrase hit me hard. Can you at least go see? Confirm that he is okay. Enough, said my mom as if I were the one who was wrong. Stop controlling your sister. Let her have a little freedom for once. Freedom is not doing whatever she feels like with my things, I responded. Don't talk to us anymore for this nonsense, my mom finished and hung up. I stood looking at the phone, trembling with rage and fear. It was the same as always. Madison could do whatever, and they still justified her. The following days became heavy for me. I threw myself fully into work to not go crazy, but the worry didn't leave. Every morning I checked my cell phone expecting Madison's message. All good, Cooper, fine, no problem. I wanted to believe her. Several days passed, then almost 2 weeks. I tried to make a video call because I missed Cooper. I needed to see him, hear his bark, feel that he was still with me even if it was through a screen. I can't, right now I am walking him, she wrote me. I tried later. Tomorrow. Tomorrow arrived and the response was another excuse. It was no longer a coincidence, it was a pattern. I asked her for a photo. Hours later, an image arrived of Cooper lying on my couch with a calm face. I felt relief for a second until I focused on the light entering through the window. It looked like morning, not night like she said. I scrolled up in the conversation and saw other photos she had sent me before. And there it was. It was the same one, exactly the same one. My heart accelerated. Why would she send old photos if everything was fine? I called Mrs. Higgins. Excuse me. I know I already bothered you, but I need to ask you something. Have you seen Cooper? Have you heard him? There was a silence that cut my breath. Well, now that you say it, she responded. I have gone about 2 weeks without hearing him. The parties continue, just more discreet. But the dog, no, I don't hear him anymore. The color drained from my face. I hung up and wrote to Madison. I need to see Cooper. Video call. Now. Seen. No response. I called her voicemail. I left her a message with my voice trembling. Madison, I know you are lying to me. If you don't answer me and don't show me Cooper, I am going to file a police report and report him as stolen. Hours passed. Nothing. I couldn't work, I couldn't eat, I couldn't think about anything else. That night I didn't sleep. I spent it checking the phone every few minutes. In the morning I called Jessica. She answered quickly. Emily, is everything okay? I need to return to the city. It is an emergency. I explained as calmly as I could, although my voice was breaking. I think something happened to my dog. My sister is not answering, and my neighbor hasn't seen or heard him in weeks. Jessica kept silent. I understand that you are worried, she said finally. But we are in the middle of the operation. Could you wait until the weekend? I took a deep breath. I felt the tears about to come out. I know what this project means. I know I am risking the promotion, but Cooper is my family. I can't stay here doing reports if he is. If he isn't. I couldn't finish. There was another pause and I heard Jessica sigh. I had a dog when I was young, she said with a softer voice. If I were in your place, I would do the same. Go. You already advanced a lot. Leave manuals, leave everything documented, and we will take care of what is missing. You just send me a follow-up when you can. I bought the first flight I found. I packed my suitcase without thinking. I arrived at the airport like I was on autopilot. When I landed, it was almost midnight. At that hour, the city felt quieter. I took a taxi straight to my building with my mind full of cold rage. As I got out, I managed to hear music. It was coming from the third floor, my floor. I went up the stairs with my heart pounding in my chest. The closer I got, the louder it sounded. Yes, another party. I unlocked the door, and the scene was exactly what I imagined. A bunch of people in my living room drinking from plastic cups, laughing, dancing. My furniture shoved into corners to make space. The air smelled of cigarettes. My jaw tightened. I dropped the suitcase with a thud and walked straight to the sound system. I unplugged the cord, and the music turned off instantly. A heavy silence fell. Everyone turned to see me. The party is over, I said with a firm voice. Everyone out. Now. There were nervous murmurs. Someone wanted to laugh, but my face stopped him. They started to gather things and leave with awkward apologies. Without looking at me, Madison appeared from the kitchen. As soon as she saw me, her color left her. What are you doing here? You were supposed to be in Seattle. Where is Cooper? I asked bluntly. Madison looked to the side uncomfortably. Well, he isn't here right now. I already saw that. Where is he? Something moved in her face. A strange glint like a challenge. Do you want to know the truth? I got tired. I felt like I was lacking air. What did you do? He barked every time people came over. He ruined everything for me. It was a problem, Emily. I took him to a shelter, she said coldly. I said I found him on the street, and that's it. My world stopped. I stood watching her as if I didn't know her, as if that weren't the person I grew up with. In that second, I felt a rage that scared me. Get out. I raised my voice. Now. What? Pack and get out right now. Madison opened her mouth to answer, but my face stopped her. If you don't leave, I continued, I am not going to tolerate this. She stood motionless for a moment and then went to the guest room dragging her suitcases, annoyed, murmuring things I didn't hear. I only saw the hollow space where Cooper used to be. When she finally closed the door upon leaving, I remained alone in my messed-up living room with the silence weighing down. It was past 12. I couldn't call any shelter at that hour, but I could do something. I sat down and opened the laptop. I searched for shelters, adoption centers, and county animal control. There were so many. I wrote a short message with the essentials. Yellow Labrador mix male. Name Cooper with microchip. 3 years old. Calm character. Owner Emily Vance. Phone and email. I sent it to everyone. That night I didn't sleep. I started cleaning the mess. I gathered cups, picked up trash, and arranged what I could. Every time I saw a toy of Cooper's, my eyes burned. Every time I passed by his empty bed, my chest tightened. As soon as dawn broke, I started calling. The first ones had no record. At others, they asked me to wait to let them check. It was already mid-morning when a woman on the phone told me something that left me without strength. Yes. We received a yellow lab about 2 weeks ago. I straightened up. Seriously. A young woman brought him. She said he was a stray, but he had a microchip. We have been trying to contact the owner. Only the number that appears goes straight to voicemail. I felt a blow of guilt. My old number. I had changed it months ago. I updated it on 1,000 things except on the microchip registry. That dog is mine, I said with a broken voice. His name is Cooper. I am Emily Vance. I can go right now with documents. We are waiting for you. We close at 5. I am on my way there. I hung up, grabbed my purse, my keys, and left. The shelter was in a different county, far from my area. At that hour, the traffic was already heavy, and the journey took almost an hour. To me, it felt eternal. The whole way I was thinking about Cooper. If he was sad. If he thought I left him. When I arrived, I almost ran to the front desk. I am coming for Cooper, I said, showing identification and papers. They reviewed my information. They confirmed the microchip. Then, a staff member signaled me to enter. We walked through corridors with kennels, barks, curious looks, silence in some corners, and then I saw him. Cooper was curled up in a ball in a corner. He looked smaller. His coat no longer had the same shine. He didn't lift his head immediately. A knot formed in my throat. Cooper, buddy. His head shot up, his ears pricked up, and when he saw me, everything changed. His eyes opened with that light I knew. He stood up and started wagging his tail with such force that his body trembled. He let out a happy bark that bounced in the hallway. The staff member opened the kennel door, and Cooper came out toward me. He threw himself on me, licked my face, and whined as if he were scolding me and forgiving me at the same time. I hugged him with all my strength. I am sorry, I repeated to him with tears falling uncontrollably. I am sorry, my love. I am here now. We did the paperwork to get him back. I had to pay the reclaim fees, and left together in the car. Cooper stuck to my leg as if he needed to ensure that I was real. He didn't move the whole way. Back at home, I bathed him calmly. I checked his paws, his skin, his eyes. He had no wounds, thank God. I served him his favorite food, and he ate it eagerly. That night, I didn't want to let him go. He slept with me in the bed, something he didn't do before because of rules for order, but that time I didn't care about any of that. The only thing I wanted was to have him close. The next morning my phone rang. It was my mom. Emily, we have to talk about what you did to Madison, she said without a greeting, as if I were the guilty one. About what I did. She is very affected. She cannot believe that you kicked her out like that. I let out a short laugh without joy. My sister abandoned Cooper at a shelter. She left my apartment a disaster. And she is the affected one. Don't exaggerate, said my mom with a tired tone. It is just a dog. And Madison was just spending a while with her friends. I looked at Cooper, who had his head on my legs. He watched me with those calm, trusting eyes, and right there I had it clear. No, I said firmly. I am not going to ask her for forgiveness. Cooper is my family. And if you guys cannot understand that, it is your problem. My mom remained silent for a second. Are you telling me that you are going to prefer a dog over your own family? I took a deep breath. My voice came out calm. I am choosing to surround myself with those who respect me and those I can trust. Are you calling us? I don't want to hear more excuses until Madison takes responsibility for what she did, and you guys stop covering for her. I don't want to know anything. My mom let out an indignant sigh. You don't do that to family. Yes, you do when you are already tired of being treated as if your life didn't matter. Goodbye, Mom. I hung up. My body was trembling, but for the first time in a long time my head felt clear. The following weeks were difficult. Calls, text messages, complaints, and attempts to make me feel guilty arrived. One day they spoke to me as if I were bad, the next, as if I were overreacting and should return to normality. I blocked their numbers. Not for revenge, but for peace. I needed to compose myself. Not only for what they did to Cooper, but for what that episode let me see. I also had to recover confidence in myself, in my decisions, and in my capacity to set boundaries. Work helped me not to fall. Jessica understood my return, and although I didn't complete the 2 months in Seattle, she valued everything I managed to leave set up. Besides, from the city, I continued connecting to close pending items and accompanied the team remotely. Weeks later I got a call. "Emily, the promotion is a go." I felt that finally I could breathe. With the raise, the first thing I did was hire a trusted dog daycare for the days I couldn't work from home. It was an expense of several $100s a month, but it gave me peace of mind. I wasn't going to get trapped without options again. Life started gaining a new rhythm. One Saturday morning in the neighborhood park, Cooper started playing with a huge German Shepherd named Max. They ran, chased each other, and pushed each other with that clean joy of dogs. While I watched them, Max's owner approached. "Do they get along well?" Yes," I responded, smiling. "Cooper is very social. When they don't scare him." The man laughed slightly. With kindness. "I am Daniel. Emily." We chatted right there without hurry. About work, dogs, life. Daniel was calm, attentive, and most importantly, you could notice the genuine affection for animals. We exchanged numbers in case the dogs saw each other again, according to him. And so it began. First it was encounters in the park, then a quick coffee, then a simple dinner, all without pressure. And Daniel adored Cooper almost as much as I did. That, without saying it, took a weight off me that I didn't even know I was carrying. 6 months after the episode at the shelter, a letter arrived in my mailbox. It was from Madison. I opened it with a tight stomach. It was a not perfect apology. It still had little bits of justifying herself, as if it cost her to fully accept what she did. But between the lines you could tell she had thought. She recognized the pain she caused me. And something that surprised me, she mentioned Cooper not as the dog, but by his name. She accepted that she hurt him too. She didn't ask me to forgive her. She didn't demand anything. She just said that she wanted me to know that she understood that it was wrong. She also said that she was going to answer for the damages to the apartment, even if it was little by little. I folded the letter and left it on the table. I didn't respond that day. I stayed in silence, caressing Cooper, listening to his calm breathing. I didn't have to decide immediately. For the first time I was setting the pace, and that decision, that of taking care of my life and Cooper's without asking for permission, I wasn't going to let go. Comment. Sometimes the hardest boundaries to set are the ones with the people we grew up with. It takes immense courage to realize that your peace and mental well-being are worth protecting, even if it means stepping away from family expectations. True loyalty isn't about accepting mistreatment. It's about surrounding yourself with people who respect your values and everything you love. Our pets often teach us more about unconditional love and trust than some humans ever could. Protecting those who cannot speak for themselves is not just a responsibility. It reflects your character. Walking away from toxic situations isn't an act of selfishness, but a necessary step toward healing. You deserve a life where your choices are respected and where you feel safe in your own home. Remember that forgiveness is a personal journey that happens on your timeline, not because someone demands it. Trust your instincts when they tell you something is wrong, and never apologize for prioritizing your peace. I hope this story reminds you that you have the power to build the life you truly want. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.